Daniel Craig's James Bond co-star Darwin Shaw has revealed how the 007 actor was packed with adrenaline on his first day on set that he punched Shaw with a clenched fist to the skull and sent him staggering back into a toiletry cubicle. In an exclusive interview with Mail Online, Shaw said Craig was so enthusiastic when they filmed Casino Royale that his kicks and punches during fight scenes were real. Shaw, cast as terrorist Fisher, Bond's first kill, praised Craig's intensity, steel, focus and 18-hour workday ethic while also being kind, caring and cool to his castmates and crew. Recalling how Craig punched straight on the forehead during their ferocious fight scene as they pushed for the fight to look authentic, he laughed, "The first takes went well, but they were pushing to make it look more real. So we shot one where Daniel would throw the punch closer to my face and be more violent. It happened in a millisecond and as his fist came forward, Daniel clocked me straight on the forehead. We carried on, because it was all part of the rough and tumble. And nobody really noticed, just Daniel and I. He came over and patted me on the shoulder. Sorry about that, mate. It was a nice gesture, but fans know my reaction is real. It was not his fault, my body was probably out of the correct position by 10 degrees which allowed that contact. Stunts like that must be totally in sync, but with the adrenaline I didn't feel anything." Craig's adrenaline was running high too as a karate kick through a plastic trash can saw Shaw's stunt double Glenn Foster take a boot to the face. That's about Daniel's power and the energy levels. It stayed in the final cut. It was pretty vicious, but to an athlete like Glenn it didn't look like he even felt it. As the fight sequence intensified with Bond striking Fisher down onto a urinal, Shaw was inspired by physicality and excitement on set. We'd rehearsed, but it was difficult to pull off. It was a 3-second shot, which still feels like yesterday, where I thought I've got to do this even if it effing hurts. Daniel twisted his arm appearing to strike me. As I launched myself back hard I thrust my elbow down smashing the urinal in pieces crumbling alongside me on the floor. There was a huge cheer that erupted from behind the camera. And I was like I have done something right. Fisher's fate was then sealed with Bond grasping his collar and drowning him in a water-filled basin. Shaw insists Craig, famous for showing off his chiseled physique in blue swim shorts in the film, was very strong. When you are working with someone who is that ripped and strong, you feel his power. He was a lot bigger than me and in incredible shape. It was not about looking like Arnie, but him creating a reality of being a killing machine. Craig was a world away from his character offset. I left a bottle of wine with a note in his trailer on my final day. As I was driving away from the set, I suddenly saw someone running up to the car in the wing mirror. It was Daniel. He was shouting "Stop, stop, stop." I was so gobsmacked and he wifed something like "Hey, thanks so much. I want to give you this." And he handed me this beautiful bottle of Czech wine and a card. He'd written, "No hard feelings, Daniel." It was a lesson in how to be a leader, and that everybody counts, and in Bond's case it takes a town to make that production. To have the time and thoughtfulness to make that gesture for a young actor, just tells you everything about who Daniel is as a human being. Shaw, who departs the franchise with no time to die, never had a doubt the blonde-haired Bond would become the greatest ever actor in the role. He often bumps into old Bond connections, but shared one amusing encounter with Daniel at the Golden Globes 3 years ago. I walked into the loo and standing next to me taking a pee was Daniel. It was first time I had seen him, and said, "All right Daniel." It took him a minute to place me, because this was so out of context. He laughed about being back in a toilet. He said, "We have got to stop doing this." Shaw broke away from his latest project, the antiviral film project, a global anthology of 24 stories which will be woven together to produce 3 feature films. He says the AVFP movies will track the course through the pandemic from isolation to connection to emergence. Each story represents a different world community set on the background of the pandemic, but not about the pandemic. There will be a cause linked to each story which highlights one of the problems of this community. Our Watch to Give initiative means film sales will benefit charities associated with that film. The other 50% goes towards paying for the next film, so each community pays forward. Our aim is to provide mentorship and collaborations in countries. From the 100 submissions for AVFB, 24 were picked, with the first film Carl and the Janitor completed and The Last Ranger just finished in South Africa. Producer Shaw's The Last Ranger, shot over 5 days in the Amakhala Wildlife Reserve, is a poignant half-hour film, with potential to be developed into a full feature. Dame Sheila Hancock is also on board for a short film Oasis, alongside Gonzalo Ramos, which will be filmed once finances are secured. Carl and the Janitor is available on Bingeable. net/MSF and 6 Feet Films. Com.